of like the Joe Rogan experience. So as people load in here, we break down what we're chatting about today. And James, you could jump in this conversation as well to make it a little more entertaining for us.
What's up, everybody?
So, what was the title again, James? How I almost went bankrupt?
Yep.
A lot of people ask questions about Shopify, and they ask questions about, you know, the couple locations that I have in the salon industry. And sometimes they ask me questions like everything I did was really successful, and they compliment the success. And unfortunately, it wasn't always like that. And I almost went bankrupt several different times in this journey. And I had to cross that conversation with my wife and cross that conversation with a lawyer and cross that conversation with multiple people. And I had to really take a look at, like, what was I doing? I was making all this money. I should be on paper super successful, but I wasn't. And the reason why I almost went bankrupt was the fact that I changed lanes into a different area of business. And I went from doing hair and salon to creating this Shopify store, this online retail shop for my beauty products I sell in my salon. And I started getting a little bit of growth, right? I started getting like 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month, 50,000 a month. And it was a lot because of Google ads and Meta ads, but specifically Google ads. And I had my ads hooked up to a credit card with no limit on it. It was like the Platinum American Express for business people, and there really was no cap. I think it might have been a little over 100 grand. And as I was, getting these sales coming in, I had no idea what I was doing with advertising. I was doing discount codes. I was doing free shipping, free returns. And I thought I was making money because the money was coming in. And then the ads account would get hit, $1,000 a day, $20,000 a day. And Google would recommend me changing my budget. And Google would recommend, lowering my return on ad spend. And these are things I had no idea about. I just simply added a plugin for my Shopify store, and it would suggest certain budget and suggest certain return on ad spends. And I would just select, okay, Google recommends this, so let me just listen to Google. And I did get more sales. Like, I was selling more stuff. I thought it was Zappos. I thought it was this big company. So I did the free shipping, the free returns, trying to be competitive, having discount codes, not really having any kind of abandoned cart email flow, not really being able to nurture any of those emails I did collect. And at the end of 3 months, when the dust settled, I looked up and it was about 90, forget what the exact number was. It was $96,000 or $98,000 I spent on ads, just ads. That's not including shipping. And I was like, holy shit, like, I got to pay this credit card bill now. Like, 1 month was like 33, paid it. Next month was something else. And when I looked at the number, I was like, wow, this is getting out of control. And it was rough. Like, I think I just got married at that time, or I just got engaged, and we were saving for the wedding. We were looking for a house, and I blew through, well over $100,000 just on ads. And I was like, holy shit, like, all that money I saved up, it just got taken from me from Google. And that was like my real taste of what it was like to be an entrepreneur. Years prior, I tried starting a website, cost me $11,000 for the website. The kid who built it didn't really screw me over. I just didn't know what he was building for me. I didn't know what to do with the website. I thought magically I would have a website and it would work and I would just start making money, but that's not how it really truly works. And so, like, I've lost money in business, and I've learned, and I lost, and I learned. And as I keep making bigger mistakes, the lessons become a little more expensive to learn. But this is the one that really, really hurt me. And so I had to kind of go back to the drawing board. Any normal, rational person probably would have just shut the business down and realized that maybe it wasn't for them. But I'm not normal. I'm not rational. So I was like, if someone could make this work, I mean, why can't I make it work? So I started getting into YouTube. I started learning about Google ads. I started learning about return on ad spend, customer acquisition cost, cost per acquisition, cost per click. And I really started learning and becoming a student of marketing. At the same time, I'm still doing hair. So now I'm working behind the chair full time, trying to pay off this debt, trying to pay for a wedding, trying to save for a house. And I'm just getting crushed left and right. And at the same time, I was getting busy, right? Because I started advertising, and we're doing more sales, so we have to ship more orders. And now I increased my payroll. So now I have more people on payroll, but I have more money going out than actually coming in. But the problem is it's going out on a credit card. So when it comes time to pay that credit card, I'm like, holy shit, where's the money at? And so I just kept on thinking, I got to make more. I got to make more. I got to make more. And I think this is a vicious cycle that a lot of entrepreneurs get into. They think that making more money is going to solve the problem. Making more money is not going to solve the problem. It's going to make more problems for you. You have to hit pause and figure out what the hell is going on. And I probably did that for like 2 years. I just kept making more, throwing more money at problems, just making a bigger issue of everything. And yeah, I finally figured out like I can't do free shipping, free returns. I can't discount products the way I was doing to become a little more approachable or a little more like to get selected on my Google ads a little more, because obviously I'm eating into my budget. I'm making less profit by discounting it, and it just wasn't working. So I really mastered, I can't say mastered, I really dug into Google ads. And so I started getting profitable now. But I was still in this hole, and I still all these people I had to hire, and I couldn't let go of them. So the biggest mistake that I made as an entrepreneur that I want everyone to listen to right now, I was taking money from a good business and I was feeding into a bad business. And because I was doing that, the mistakes and the issues in that business weren't as visible because I didn't feel the pain because I was able to fund it from another company. And the one thing I would preach to anyone in any kind of salon or any entrepreneurship is if you have one business, you have one salon, and you go to open a second, you may give that salon a loan to do the initial startup and a fund. Pay it back to yourself, right? Don't just let that money get burned in the wind like I did. Quickly, and just have as quickly as you start that company, create the separate bank account, create the separate entity, create the separate everything, and let that business fund itself. Let that business pay for its employees. Let that business pay for its marketing. And if you're working on both businesses, you want to replace yourself eventually. So a good practice to do is pay yourself a management salary. So you get in the habit of paying someone to operate the business. So when you step away from it, it's a real business, right? You're not just using your funds from one company to fund your other company, which is funding your lifestyle. It's one big mishmash of a financial mess. And that's what I did for many years. And I just put my head down and worked and worked and worked. And sometimes that work ethic, even though it's a blessing, like not everyone has the ability to do that and just really just take it on the chin every single day and keep getting up and keep getting up. That grind, that perseverance sometimes can hurt you because you should have pivoted 2 years ago. And had you just did a slight pivot, you wouldn't be in the position you are now. But, you watch the motivational videos. You hear you got to persist through the problems. You've got to bust through the obstacle. And yeah, that is true. But every now and then, you have to hit pause for a second and take a look at what the hell's going on. And had I done that, had I really just been honest with myself about the business, I wouldn't have been put in the position that I was in. And so, I had creditors coming after me. And before I started this, I was just in my salon. Right? Before I started the online thing, I just did hair. So my expenses were easy, right? It was easy to run a salon. I knew the business. Then I got into this online business where I didn't know shit. And I figured you list the products, you run ads to them, you make the money. It's not that simple. Sounds simple. It is that simple eventually, but to get there, it's not. So now I had to dig myself out of this hole. And it took me probably 4 years to dig myself out of the 3 months of just crazy spending and trying to learn how to market myself online. And the one lesson the many lessons I can tell you amongst everything I learned, other than don't blend your money and don't rob Peter to pay Paul, don't use good money from a good business to fund a bad business. I would, the one lesson I would do is learn and understand finances, understand exactly how to run a business. Understand that you can't wear all the hats and hire someone who really understands money and understands the language of money, if that's not you, to teach you about it. Because unfortunately, it was learning about the salon's easy, right? It's a conversation because you're a salon owner. But once you start going into other businesses, you don't know anything about it. have the career capital. Like you have to have career capital in the next thing that you're doing. So it's so important before you jump into a business and open a restaurant with your friend, or before you jump into another salon with somebody, if you're just working in a salon now as a stylist, learn business, learn the language of money, learn how to have these conversations with bankers and conversations with your distributors to negotiate deals. Because when you get into that business, it's a completely different ballgame. James.
Nick.
So what questions do you have as an outside person who kind of knows me that you can ask that the audience would want to hear if there's no comments going on?
No comments at the moment, but for me,
because you saw the rise when I was in the salon, and then it was like,
well, I saw all the ups and downs. I saw you go through the entire learning process of doing ads, and I remember when you first started doing it, you're like, "Oh, I got this! Like I'm crushing it. It's fantastic." And all of a sudden, things made a wrong turn, and you were really, really struggling. You didn't know what to do. You were like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but you just buckled down and really got studying and learned how to do it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through that and really struggle with all of the aspects of being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. Where would you go to start to learn the game of money? Where would you go to start to learn about finances?
And, that's a great question.
And there's some people that watch Dave Ramsey. Me, I'm not so much of a fan of Dave Ramsey. He seems to me like more like of a save and a middle class, like helping the middle class employee rather than an entrepreneur who's trying to understand money and understand the game behind being an entrepreneur and understanding the financial world.
All right, so Dave Ramsey, I love Dave Ramsey too, by the way. I think Dave's awesome. I think Dave is a very, very safe person to follow and take advice from. Somebody like Dave is perfect for somebody like me because I have such a big appetite for risk. Had I not put everything on credit, I would not have been put in the situation I was in. So Dave Ramsey is really big at not having credit cards and understanding your budgets and things like that. And then you have guys like Robert Kiyosaki. So it's like use other people's money to make money. If you're not mature enough in business, if you're not disciplined enough in business, if you don't have the business acumen, using other people's money to make money is a recipe for disaster. So Dave Ramsey, believe it or not, James, contrary to what you're saying, is I think he's a perfect person to go to for beginners who don't understand money yet, who really need the fundamentals and to be responsible with money.
Fair.
And Robert Kiyosaki, he's amazing. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Big fan of him.
He's really big on using other people's money. But if you're not disciplined, if you're not financially fit, then I would definitely dive into Dave Ramsey's material first. What I would do, it depends on what you want to learn. If you want to learn more about Google ads or marketing, you guys know I'm a big advocate of Upwork or freelancers, right? Or whatever websites are out there that you can hire someone to be a virtual assistant or to handle these tasks for you. I would go to that website like Upwork and I would hire somebody who's really proficient at a particular thing, whether it's Meta ads, Google ads, bookkeeping, and I would hire them for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I would Google Meet record, Zoom record, whatever platform you want to use. And I would have them break down everything you need to know about your business or your future business, how they would handle it, what they would do. Most of the time they're cool with it, right? Because you're paying them for their time anyway. I would take that recording and that would be my lesson. I would watch that video over and over again. I would learn the language of money. I would learn the language of marketing, learn that language with that person. So I already had a degree of knowledge before entering into that. Now, you're going to want to hire somebody to handle your ads for you for the most part. But if you hire somebody to handle your ads for you, which I've done plenty of times without knowing the language of ads, it didn't work out for me. I didn't know how to guide them. I didn't know what to say to them. I didn't know what to direct them. And a lot of times they're not in the beauty marketplace. So for us, the way they would market certain products, it's much different for a person who owns a brand than it is for a reseller. Because our margins are only 50%, typically a 50% markup. So by hiring that person to jump into my business and sell my products for me through my Google ads, they're not looking at the lens of my margins only 50%. Even though you tell them that, they're looking to acquire as much data and to get as much sales for you. And they're looking to do that usually from the perspective of you owning the brand. So you have a little more margin there. And the strategies that you use as a typical marketer are different than you would if you were to be doing like as a reseller. That's why when I was reselling, I would do it for my local audience. So this way I was able to capitalize the traffic for the salon as well. And so if I sell this bottle of shampoo, and let's say I'm selling within a 7-mile radius around my salon, I don't mind having a certain acquisition cost for that product because I'm going to retarget to them to get them in my salon. So I would start there, and I would really start advertising for a smaller circumference, not nationally, but maybe pick, tri-state so your shipping's a little less. Maybe pick tri-county, maybe pick a 10-mile radius so you can really double dip on your retargeting campaigns and get the person who bought the shampoo from your salon into your salon to get a haircut or a color or a service. So another person I follow is Alex Ramosi. Alex is our modern day Michael Jordan of business. The kid's just a beast. I call him a kid because he's like 10 years younger than me, I think, maybe even more than that. And if you take a look at what Alex Ramosi did, he did exactly what I'm telling you. Go learn from people. Like so many people are so scared to invest in themselves. For those of you who know Alex Ramosi but don't really know his story, go follow him on every platform. He's a wealth of knowledge. Before he even owned a gym, he invested, I think it was like 10 grand in a mastermind. Like it was almost a big chunk of his money to learn from people who did it. Before he invested in doing anything online, I believe it was ClickFunnels. He went to a ClickFunnels event and invested a ton of money into learning how to do stuff online. You guys understand how much he's invested into himself, into his knowledge? That's why he's so wealthy right now. That's why he has so much success, because he's investing in himself. You can't get taxed on that knowledge. And so all you people out there who are afraid to take the course, to buy the program, to invest in yourself, you're never going to make it because you don't know what you don't know. And so you may make it in 5 to 10 or whatever years, but what's it going to cost you? If you think of your total amount that you're worth, right? If you think of how much you can actually make at a business, your potential, let's call it. If your potential is $500,000 a year and you're only making $50,000 a year right now, the cost of not knowing the knowledge you need to get to your full potential is $450,000. So for you to take a course for $10,000 or hire a coach or hire a mentor for $10,000, it's 100% worth it. But I want you guys to think of what vehicle are you taking to get to that $500,000. You're probably not going to make it working behind the chair, but you will make it as a salon owner. The vehicle to get you there, to get the $500,000 a year, it's going to be there as a salon owner. You can definitely do that. But if you're in a commission salon, it might be a little more difficult. So take a look at what vehicle you're taking to get to your dream result. If you're going to stay in a commission salon and you're happy there, that's awesome. Stay there. You can make a lot of money. If you love cutting hair, but you don't want to own a salon, that's cool. Let's say you're making 200 grand a year cutting hair, but you have aspirations of making more. So you could become an educator. You could open up like a laundromat. Like if you want to open businesses that aren't salons, follow someone named Cody Sanchez. She is just, I would say, on the level of Alex Ramosi when it comes to knowledge about businesses, specifically boring businesses, specifically businesses you don't really need to be around to run. So you can run them in a few hours per week after you get everything up and running and still work behind the chair. And now you have a laundromat or a car wash or some other kind of business that's considered a boring business, generating you cash flow every single month that you could now start investing into your wealth. James, what do you got? Any more comments in there or?
Yeah, we do have a question. Let me scroll up to it. Do you spend only 15% of what you bring in?
On what?
I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah, so that's like, do I spend 15% of what I bring in on what? Do I spend that on marketing? Do I only spend it and keep the other 85%? I'm the type of person, I don't like to have a lot of money in savings. I like to have a lot of money invested into things that I'm working on that generate more cash flow for me. And so during the pandemic, I took all the money out of the stock market right before everything probably dipped. I took all of my profits and I reinvested them in my salon again because I had control over that. And I think it's Alex who says, I want to invest in the S&P me, right? Or the SN me, whatever the hell he calls it. But I invest in myself. So I decided that I was investing in all these companies, but I didn't really have control over what the companies did because I didn't have enough money, obviously, invest in the company to be on the board or actually say what the company does with my money that I invested in them. Now, I'm not saying to do this 100%, but I was like, all right, I know I can make a 30% profit on selling this shampoo online with my discounts and with how I run ads now. So for me to spend 30 grand investing into Apple, let's say, or Tesla or another stock, I could take that 30 grand, work out a deal with the distributor and get 2 or 3 pallets of shampoo that I know are trending on Google. So I would then buy those products, tie that money up for a short period of time, run some ads to it, and get rid of the products and make my money. So that's where I put my money back into my business. So I spend, honestly, if I bring in 100 grand, I would try and reinvest it again in my business and try and live off a very little amount. So if you're asking what I keep, what I try and live off of, I'll try and live off of somewhere like that 15%, 20%. James.
She said product or back bar is what she said. Asked what she was spending 50% on.
Yeah, so here's the beautiful part. I don't spend anything because I have something called parts and labor. It's a system that I implement. And my clients who come into Somp, they pay for the color. Back bar is always free because I get the kickback from points because I do so much volume. So typically, I don't really spend much on back bar. I usually get it for free. Color is being covered by the clients because I do parts and labor. And how I run my business now, as opposed to years ago, is I take a look at where I'm losing money and how do I turn that from a liability to an asset. And so color was a liability. Like I was losing money every month on color. So what I do now is I was like, how do I fix this problem? I made it into an asset. I made it something where I charge it to the client. So I really need you guys to take a look at where's the money going? Like where's the money leaving your business? And how do you turn that from leaving your business to making something coming into your business? And that's what I wound up doing. James.
HG3 Phase says say her name again. I don't know what he means by that.
Oh, Cody Sanchez.
Oh. Okay.
So if you guys are watching this, I pretty much give like a lot of my secrets away, who I learned from. If you're not learning every single day, if you're not spending an hour a day trying to learn something new, you're not really truly in this to win it. Like you're not a true dedicated entrepreneur. Like at some point in time, you don't know everything. Like you don't. You're going to a new space. You're going into new marketing. You have to either pay for the lesson through the experience, or you're going to pay for the lesson through somebody else's experience. And I'd much rather pay somebody else to learn from their experience. So this way, when you're going through it yourself, you could time collapse your journey. Do you guys understand how important time is? Like so many people would rather spend time to save money, whereas I would rather spend money to save time. You guys have it all wrong. You could always make more money, but you can't make more time, especially on a day like today. Like guys, we're filming this during 9/11. So what I'm going to do is, James, for 1 second, let's give like a 10-second, whatever. We actually dedicated more for like a moment of silence real quick. This is a really important day in my life. It was like life-changing to me because, I might even cry thinking about it. No one I knew was killed during 9/11, but it was a very impactful day. Live here in New Jersey and thinking about just across the water, one of the worst heinous attacks on our country happened. And so let's give it like a quick little moment of silence if you guys are watching right now.
My father's best friend was on the 82nd
Yeah,
floor of the
I just
South
want
Tower.
to just quiet down for a second, and we're going to give it a moment of silence, James. I know this day is very meaningful to you, too. All right, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, like, I respect the day for what it is. And if you guys if you're old enough to remember that day, it just really makes you realize how important time is. Like, it's been 23 years, James?
2001, so yeah.
23 years, went like that. So, guys, time is so precious. You don't know when you're going to leave. Like how many people have kids that are watching right now that you blink an eye, your kid's 5, and you blink an eye, they're 15, you blink an eye, they're in college. So if you're trying to spend your time to save money, don't do that. Spend your money to save time. That's one of the things that if you could take anything away from today's live, it would be that. It would 100% be that. Learn from the mistakes other people made. So to get back to how I saved myself in bankruptcy. So what I did was I took a look at all my money going out of my business, and I decided to work 7 days a week. I worked sometimes 10 hours a day, sometimes 12 hours a day, and I traded my time for money. But then I started becoming a better leader. I started hiring a team. I started negotiating different deals with different creditors, and I worked my way out of it. I started learning language of money. I started realizing that you can negotiate almost everything. And unless you're dead, it's not over. So you might feel like you want to die. So there's plenty of times I would leave the salon, I would bust my ass, and you're making all this money, and there's nothing to show for it. Like how many salon owners out there watching right now, or how many people listening right now, you get to the end of the month, and you worked your ass off, and you look at the big numbers coming in, and then you're done paying your bills, paying your team, paying the taxes, paying everything else. You're like, where the fuck's the money? Where is it? Like it's coming in, you know it's here. It's time to actually take a step back, hit pause for a second, and take a look at where it's going and make some changes. If you guys want help, I can get you in touch with somebody, accountants, bookkeepers. You could DM me the word help. I'll get a conversation going with you, and we'll see where the bottleneck is in your business. I would love to do that for you. Love to help you out. Just shoot me a DM if you're on Instagram. If you're not watching this on Instagram, go to Instagram, DM at Nick Mirabella, DM me the word help, and I'll get you some help, either through our conversation or through the help of somebody who actually helped me. There's a bunch of people that I work with that got me out of my mess, and it took me a couple years to really get things going in the right direction. And I had to be honest with you, I had to really cut my total revenue in half, maybe more so, to become profitable. So sometimes more isn't the answer. Sometimes less, you're more profitable. So you're going to go through growing pains as you're growing your salons. Like if you're successful at one salon, then you open a second one. You may not be successful at it. So before you open your second location, can you take a 3-month vacation from your first location? Like, can you just take off for 3 to 6 months and have that salon run perfectly smooth? If you can't, you're not ready to open your second location yet because you have a job, you don't have a business. So that's one of the first things you got to really focus on is, does your salon run efficiently without you? Do you have systems in place? Because if you don't, that second location, you're going to fund it with the profits from your first one, and that's going to be the reason why you might go bankrupt. That's what I was doing. So you have to dedicate it. You have to treat it like a baby, right? Imagine having 2 infants or 2 kids under 2, or having twins. Can you change 2 diapers at once? You can't. Can you feed both kids at once? Really difficult. So you have to nurture each baby. You have to understand, like, a new business is like a baby. It requires a lot of attention. So if you're still paying too much attention to your one salon that's successful, guess what's going to happen? Once you go to your second salon to start making that successful, if you don't have systems in place for the first one, that one's going to start failing. And so it's important that you can step away, make sure the salon's running very smooth, then you open your second location. Then once you have that down pat, guess what you do? You could open a third. But only until your salon will run efficiently without you being there for a significant amount of time, you're not ready to open that second or that third, or that fourth location. So believe me, I've 4 that I'm associated with that I actually actively participate in. And then there's a couple affiliate salons that I'm involved with. And then I coach clients that have multiple salons too. And if you don't have the systems in place, it's going to be an issue. So James, how are we doing in the chat over there?
We got a couple. First, Kelly Hair Dreams. If you're watching and you're not in the coaching program, you need to be. You can't afford not to.
Kelly, I honestly love the love you give me. Thank you. Guys, Kelly is a fucking beast in her salon. She crushes shit. Like, her problem is too many clients. Being oversubscribed is a major problem. Thank you for the love, Kelly. I appreciate that.
I'm sure many people listening, if they own a salon or a stylist, they don't have that problem.
Yeah. There's a book, if you guys want to watch it, listen to it or read it. I listen to audiobooks. It's called Oversubscribed. I forget the author. James, you want to look that up for me? The book is called Oversubscribed. You could definitely pull some nuggets of information out of that book. And Raving Fans is another great book to have.
Oversubscribed.
Yeah.
How to get people lining up. It is, let's see, Amazon.
Let's take a look at the other questions if we got any more.
HC3 Phase said, yes, I'm in. Convinced I need to join the team. Darlene, Hair by Design. I would love to have a list of the systems I need in place. I'm a suite owner.
Okay, first, before your systems you need to have in place, you need to have an idea of what your vision is, what your goal is. Because the systems you need to have in place are much different from my systems I have in place. Typically, if you're in a suite, Darlene, if you're watching, how many chairs do you have in your suite? Because that's important. Is it a 1-chair suite? Is it a 2-chair suite? Do you work with an assistant? Like what are some of those things? I truly believe in working with an assistant. Anyone out there watching right now, anyone out there listening right now, if you're the type of stylist that I want to work solo, I don't want a team, I don't want to work with an assistant, I'm telling you right now, you're not a business owner. You just have yourself a job. You're not. You have to get rid of that mindset. You don't like people. You're not a good leader. People don't listen to whatever the story you're telling yourself. Stop. Having an assistant is a game changer for you to have more freedom away from the business. Now, I'm not just talking about an assistant behind the chair. If you're happy in your 1-chair suite and it's very peaceful, listen, that's your thing. I love it. This is why people, have different things in life. There's a variety because people like a variety of things. And if I just couldn't work in a 1-chair suite. That's just me. But if that's you, amazing. I could tell you how to buy back your time in a different way. So what's the bottleneck in your business, Darlene? Like, is it handling emails? Is it handling text messages? Is it booking people? Like, what's your pain point that you don't feel like doing when you're done with a 8-hour shift or a 10-hour shift, or you're done with whatever hour shift in your suite? Do you want to watch the Bulls? If you don't mind that, great. What's the pain point? Is it emails? Is it client communication? Is it doing your email blasts or your email flows? Is it handling text messages? So you can hire a virtual assistant. The platform I like is Upwork. I have a whole curriculum on how to delegate to elevate. And if you hire a team, maybe not an assistant in the salon, but if you hire an assistant to handle your time for you, to do your emails for you, that's amazing. And if the bottleneck isn't, let's say, in the business, let's say you want to spend more time with your family. You want to spend more time with your kids, but you can't because you're stuck doing laundry for 3 hours. You're stuck cleaning the house. You're stuck doing the jobs around your personal life that are taking you away from spending quality time with your family. Guess what? Hire somebody to do those things for you. If you make more money doing extensions behind the chair or doing color behind the chair, you should do color behind the chair or extensions behind the chair and hire somebody to do your laundry for you. Hire someone to clean your house. So when you're not doing the things behind the chair, you can spend quality time with your kids, your husband, your loved ones, your friends, doing things that you love to do. Because if you don't love doing those things, don't do them. If you love doing hair, do hair. You'll make way more money doing hair than you would just cleaning your house because you're not making any money doing that. So if it costs you $100 for someone to clean your house, let's say $200, but an extension install you're making $600 on, guess what? Pay someone to do the other thing for you. So when you get home, you can relax. James.
Nick has always been like this. I've known Nick for almost 15, almost 20 years now. And he used to call me Cinderella because back when I used to live with my parents used to have me doing all these chores, all this stuff around the house, and he used to make fun of me all the time. He's like, bro, just hire somebody to do it. Like, just pay somebody to do it. And he'd make fun of me all of the time. Darlene said emails, Instagram, cleaning. Maybe she can rent to someone on her days off.
Yep. Darlene, all of that is like, I'll give you all the fundamentals in the program, high level. But that's it. Like, hire someone to do it.
Yeah, Darlene, if you want some more detailed help, definitely reach out to Nick.
I think Darlene, we might have chatted before in the DMs. Yeah, definitely get in there. 3 months of the program will get you set up with the foundations and then just hit the ground running. But truly, honestly, you shouldn't be wasting your time doing the emails. You're a hairstylist. Do hair. The internet is such an amazing place. You can hire someone for anything. Here's the thing, though. You got to be a good leader. You need to have the ability to guide someone and be clear on what the outcome is that you want. The problem with people who hire other people to do tasks for them is they're not clear on the result that they want. You have to be clear on the result. Like, be crystal clear on what it is. What's the definition of done? What does done look like? So this way, when you go take a look at what they did for you, if it's not done and you were clear on done, then you have to go back and look at the process that they did. And if the process is perfect, then it's the person. So you have two problems, people or process. And if you're clear with your definition of done, you're clear with the process of how to get from point A to point B, and that person can't do it, then you hire the wrong person. Then you have to work on your hiring skills. So these are all things that separate this particular program from other programs, but it's not a sales pitch for the program. You guys want to learn more about it, just DM me. We're going to talk more about bankruptcy if you guys have more questions about that. James?
It's not a question about bankruptcy. Well, first,
Anything.
the author of Oversubscribed is Daniel Priestley, Priestley. That's the author. Pick it up on Amazon. It's $27. Redeem Cuts, thank you for all the information, my brother. I just got my barber manager's license, and I was thinking of opening up a barber shop, but I still have some fear of the unknown. Not a bankrupting or finance question, but that is a question in the chat.
Yeah, so you're going to have fear. What happens is, who is this person again? Barber?
Yeah, he's a barber. Just got his barber's manager's license.
Honestly, because you don't know anything about it yet, right? You're going to be scared of a lot of things. Go talk to other barbers about things that happened in their career, and then you won't be as scared. Because you're going to have knowledge on what went wrong, what went right, how to handle it. But to be honest with you, just do it. You're not going to die if you fail. I 100% promise you, you won't die if your barbershop fails. You're going to learn a lot. Then you open another one with the knowledge that you learned. If you never quit, and you keep persevering, and you never quit, you will succeed eventually. You're guaranteed to succeed. So if you never quit until you die, you're dead, so it doesn't matter anyway. But just don't quit. Just keep learning. Don't repeat your mistakes, though. Don't ever repeat your mistakes. Because then the universe, God, whoever, will get louder and louder with trying to teach you the lesson that you're not learning. So if you keep on repeating mistakes, they're going to become harder and harder to overcome. So document your journey, study losses, what went wrong, become a student, not just of actually become a student of everything. Like, don't just study how people, when they failed, like what caused them to fail. Study what caused people to become successful, but what stopped them from becoming more successful. That's one of the things that I've learned. Like, I was making money, but how could I have been more successful? How could I have profited more? And a lot of times that is what people fail to study. Like, you're a successful salon owner and things are going well for you. And so you kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit, or you're not studying your success. Study your success. How could you become better? Because when the shit hits the fan, you have that walkout or something happens in your business, you don't know how to navigate and really study what you've been doing to pivot. So the details of what brought you to be successful, maybe there's a little gem in there, like a little gem of knowledge or some kind of research you did that you become aware of that could have made you more successful. So a lot of people like to take a look at the losses. Take a look at the wins too. Take a look at how people got from point A to point B. Take a look at how they got, from point B back to point A again. Like, you should be a student of business in general, because you can pull from any business, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's an online business, whether it's a dog groomer, whether it's a barbershop, it could be anything. Become a student of business. But don't be scared. You got to jump.
Artist by Moonbeam. I have 4 chairs, suite. I hired an apprentice recently, and now the business is quiet, not sure. And she followed up, said, I'm from South Africa. Everyone I chat with is complaining about business. How can I be a cut above the rest?
Become so good they can't ignore you. That's it. Are you the best in the world at cutting hair or coloring hair? Are you the best leader in the world? Are you the best salon owner in the world? Are you the best stylist in the world? Are you the best marketer in the world? Are you the best at sales? Are you the best communicator? So you have to become the best. Like the world everyone talks about the recession right now. There's people out there who are making money. Why isn't it collectively across the whole entire globe that we're in a recession? So you have to become the best. And why did you hire an assistant? Take a look at what was your reason for hiring them. Did you think hiring an assistant was going to help you grow? The assistant you hire should be paying for themselves. So when you bring on an assistant, you should have so much overflow. You should be so oversubscribed that that person coming on your team frees up some of your time to invest your time in higher ticket services. So they can handle the single process. They can handle the blowouts. They can do the other things that are taking up too much of your time away from making more money for the business. So you should have a pipeline of clients, like for sales terms, knocking on your door. And if not, learn how to make that a reality for you. Become a student of that. Because you guys hear me say this all the time. What business do you think you're in? What business are you really in? What business do you need to be in? And the business you guys need to be in is recruiting. Like, you have to be able to recruit clients to come into your salon to get their hair done, or recruit stylists to get their hair or to do hair in your salon.
Darlene said, yes, we chatted. I love doing hair done properly is my motto. Herschel, I almost said his name wrong again. My man Herschel, I want to hire someone, but the last time I hired this cleaning lady, she charged me $700. This was for a 2-bedroom condo.
Did you know that price beforehand? And was it every week? So established how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, $700 is a lot.
It was like $150 to clean my house.
Yeah,
Like,
you
and
hired the
big
wrong
ass house
person.
in Vegas.
Now, was it for the month? I'm actually, Herschel, I'm glad you did that. When you hire someone to buy back your time, that free time you have should be dedicated to making more money than you're paying to hire that person to do the thing for you. So these people, like, a lot of people get stuck around hiring. And then they come to me like, I'm not making any more money. I'm actually losing money. Well, what did you do with that free time? Did you do something to grow the business enough to pay for that person? Like you have to really, truly ask yourself, what are you going to do with that free time you're buying back? And are you using it wisely to move the business forward? So there's something called the replacement ladder. You could go to Dan Martell's YouTube channel, and he'll break that down for you in a little more detail. Or if you're my program, just watch 2 weeks ago's call.
Let's see. The color girl, failure is a learning opportunity. Redeeming cuts. Thank you for I appreciate the information. Thank you for the valuable information from sharing. Darlene, I'm booked solid. So she's really just worried about emails and all of the odds and ends. So
I'll teach you how to hire a virtual assistant, how to organize that conversation, how to bring them on. And there's a lot of things I teach from, like the 10-80-10 rule, that you take them through 10% of the project, hand them off 80%. You finish the last 10% with them, and then you give them the project and they own it. I love project management software too. Like Basecamp is something I use. Google Docs. Yeah, Basecamp is my hub. But there's Asana. There's a bunch of different things you could use. If it's just one person, you could just go through email with them or through WhatsApp.
My man Herschel, shout out to you, James. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. I was moving, so it was professionally done, and Age was a family friend, and it was a family friend. $700, that's steep, even if it is done professionally. That's steep.
How long did it take them? That's the thing too.
Yeah, that is.
If it was 7 hours and you make $300 an hour, well, then it was a good investment.
Full steam of the walls and everything.
You guys, when it comes down to your success, a lot of times people are pretending not to know what they already know. Like, so ask yourself, what are you pretending not to know that you already know? Like, people hire personal trainers and they hire fitness coaches, but they know they shouldn't eat pizza every single day. They know they should quit drinking. They know they should stop eating junk food at night. They should stop hitting McDonald's. They should move more than they sit. Like, what are you pretending not to know? Like, you know what you should be doing in your business, but you're just choosing not to. And that's like one of the biggest things I say to people that are either in my program or that I speak to on a regular basis. Like, you know what to do. Just do it. The problem is you're not able to hold yourself accountable. So all you salon owners out there, all you suite renters, everyone who has their own business, there's no one telling you what to do anymore. You need discipline. That's why, like, the core thing that I teach is the habits, the 5 non-negotiables. Like, what are your habits? Take a look at a man's habits. I can pretty much tell you what their bank account is within, give or take, a couple $100, couple $1,000 for the most part. It's all about your habits. So
Herschel said agreed 4 hours. I mean, it's not really about the time to steal a quote from Nick. It's about the finished product, but still $700 is cheap. That's steep. That's crazy. Darlene said, thank you for the information. I have a question.
yeah.
So we were talking about how you almost went bankrupt, and you were bringing up how you were just spending recklessly on limitless credit cards on ads and ad spend. If you were just learning about social media marketing and running ads and things like that, what would be a good strategy for someone new to start out? Because my father, he runs a gambling website, and I keep telling him, like, "Father, Dad, you gotta run some ads. You got to start."
So
marketing.
gambling is a little more restrictive on advertising.
Well, it's a data website. There's no gambling.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
It's a data website, so
Right.
he's just giving the data to people that like to gamble. So it gives them the leg up. It's a brilliant idea. I think it's going to do very, very well. But he's a nerd.
Is he online every single day talking about the picks and talking about the data and showcasing it?
Yeah.
and-
Oh yeah. Every day he's sending out. Not enough in my opinion.
No,
but
I'm saying on Instagram, on TikTok.
He's on Twitter. He's still learning. He has no idea about social media.
Okay, why don't you help him out?
I'm working on that. But
Okay.
he's hard headed. My question
okay.
is,
Hard on James.
what's a good strategy? Because it doesn't have to necessarily be. It's really any business. 'Cause
Yeah, okay.
Today's world, social media ads are so important.
Yeah.
What's a good strategy for someone who's just finding out about this and learning about running ads online to get started? How much should they allocate? How many
Okay,
times a week?
here's the first thing when it comes to running ads. Be really good at organic first. This is the lesson I needed to learn. Shout out to Scott Redgate. Helped me understand this lesson. This is probably the most valuable lesson he taught me amongst many. Scott Redgate's a guy on YouTube. Follow him. Ton of knowledge. Get really good at the organic SEO, organic reach, organic content, because you have to advertise something, and you're going to advertise your content. That's what we do with social media, and especially like Google and whatever it is you're advertising on. But make sure your SEO is dialed in. Search engine optimization. The structure of good SEO leads to better SEM. So if you have a good SEO structure, you have a good SEM structure. SEM is search engine marketing. So the two of them work hand in hand. So when Google wants to serve your content and you have a really good click-through ratio on your ads, you're going to have a good click-through ratio because organically your page is fully optimized. So that's the first thing. Make sure everything's fully optimized for your salon's website. And then again, for your social media, make sure you got keywords in your captions. Make sure you are really good at creating content. Then once you have enough traffic coming in from that content, then you put a little fuel on the fire. Because if not, you're just throwing money out the window. Now, what you should be doing is learning the language first. First, go to ChatGPT, ask it to teach you every single term about running ads for every platform. Then independently, hire the person, like I said, from Upwork to teach you about every ad platform so you know the language and the specific strategy for your type of business. And then you have to know what your customer acquisition costs. So you have to be really smart on your data, what your margins are, how much your average ticket is, all of that stuff. You have to know what you can actually spend to get a customer in the door or to click into your website. If you don't know that, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble because you're not going to know where you have to turn your dials to when it comes to advertising.
There we go.
Yeah.
Scott Redgate, Marlene.
Scott Redgate.
Yeah, or Darlene, sorry.
Yeah.
I have dyslexia.
Go to his YouTube channel. He's brilliant.
Sometimes on the YouTube chat, he'll stop in and say hi.
Scott was my first real one-on-one coach that I hired. And I saw his YouTube. This is actually a great story. I'm going to tell it right now. Scott, if you're watching, shout out to you. He was just started off on YouTube. I started seeing his content. I was struggling with something. The universe works in amazing ways. And he was like, I left a couple comments. Somehow I got his email address. We chatted for 2 seconds. I'm like, can you help me? I want to hire you one-on-one. And he was busy. Like, he's dad. He's got another business that he runs. And so we started meeting up on Friday mornings. The money, I'm not going to say how much it was because it's his business and my business, but it was, it was significant investment. It wasn't cheap, wasn't crazy, but it was significant to make me pay attention. That's the thing. It was enough to make me pay attention. I've hired things in the past, hired people in the past, courses in the past, wasn't enough to make me pay attention. So I paid attention and I learned, like, holy shit, I didn't know anything. I thought I was on top of my game. I didn't know shit. Like, if I could just take his knowledge out of his brain and put it in mine, I would be crushing it. And so that was the first introduction to hiring someone to time collapse my journey. So Scott met with me every Friday at like at 7 a.m. for a couple months. And it just started like pouring into me about the SEO and about these cool different websites like Answer the Public. And SpyFu is a way you could spy on your competition. Then he taught me like different SEO tactics on my Shopify store specifically. And so through organic reach, I just changed my domain name from the warehouse.salon to the warehouse.salon.com. And so I kind of dropped a little bit, but I'm coming back up again with my organic search. And he just honestly helped me so immensely that now he helped me more than just with my online presence. He helped me truly understand what the value of having a mentor or a coach really is.
Even your favorite coaches have coaches, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. What do we got going on? Anything else, James?
Nothing in the chat.
All right, guys. So when it comes to you opening a salon, you dealing with, being stuck in a really hard spot right now, dealing with bankruptcy, dealing with closing your salon down, I want you guys to figure out what happened. Why are you in this position? And before you open another business and you have one business, make sure you can fully step out of that business and have it run completely smooth without you there. If you can do that, then it's time for you to open the second business. If you can, put the systems in place to run your business efficiently without you being there. And then when that happens, now it's time to dedicate your time to the next one. And then you put the same systems in place that are really helping your business thrive and be profitable for business number 2. Too many people, I've done this myself. 100, I'm guilty of it. I figured I could open another business up and that business will save my first one. That never works out. That's like having a kid to save your marriage. It's ridiculous. 100%. It's not going to work out. So fix the problem, get the systems in place, and then you open the second one. Because if you're opening a second business to fix the first business, one of them, if not both of them, are going to die. So if you guys are watching on YouTube or if you're on Instagram, go to my YouTube channel, click subscribe, and then you can watch these lives whenever you want on Instagram. If you have any questions, you want any more help, DM me the word grow. Just DM me. Say, hey, Nick, I watched your live. I want to chat. If you're on Facebook, make sure you follow. I don't have many Facebook followers for whatever reason. I still get shadow banned on Facebook for the pandemic conversations I used to have. But you guys are amazing. Great questions today. And see you guys tomorrow.